Hello, I am Nancy Cheney, the reading specialist with Epic Charter Schools. We're going to be looking at the Oklahoma Academic Standards for 3rd grade. English Language Arts 3.3.R.4. Students will find examples of literary devices: simile, metaphor, personification, onomatopoeia, hyperbole. A simile is a figure of speech that compares two things that are not normally alike. A simile uses the word like or as. Look for the similes in the following sentences. First one, her eyes were like twinkling stars. We're comparing her eyes. I do see the word like. We're comparing her eyes. They're like twinkling stars. Second one, he moved as quiet as a school at night. There's the word as. We're comparing how he moved with the quiet. Quiet as a school at night. The last one, the night was dark as black velvet. We're comparing the dark to the velvet. We have the word as, so we know it's a simile. So our simile is dark as black velvet. Remember, a simile compares two things that usually aren't compared. A simile uses the word like or as. A metaphor is a figure of speech that describes one thing as something else. It is a direct comparison. Look for metaphors in the following sentences. Number 1. Mom says my bedroom is a pig pen. We're comparing bedroom with pig pen. So the metaphor is bedroom is pig pen. Number 2. The rubber hose is a snake hiding in the tall grass. What are we comparing? Hose and snake. So our metaphor is the hose is a snake. Remember, a metaphor is a direct comparison between two things. A hyperbole is a figure of speech like a simile or a metaphor, but it is more extreme and even can be ridiculous. So look for a hyperbole in the following sentences. Number 1, he is older than the hills. How old is he? Older than the hills. That's pretty extreme. So your hyperbole is older than the hills. Number 2, I had a ton of homework. He may have had a lot of homework, but a ton is 2,000 pounds, so that's pretty ridiculous. A hyperbole is a figure of speech that's extreme. Ton of homework. Number 3, your brain, her brain, is the size of a pea. That's pretty extreme, isn't it? We're comparing the brain to the size of a pea. These are some examples of the hyperbole. Onomatopoeia is a word that imitates the sound associated with it. Its pronunciation imitates its sound. In the sentences below, which words are onomatopoeic? Number 1, her heels clacked on the hard floor. Clacked makes a sound like the word. Number 2, the wolves howled at the moon. Howled would be your word. That would be show onomatopoeia. Number 3, the flag flapped in the wind. Flapped would be your word that imitates its sound. Number 4, the birds chirp filled the air with sound. Chirp is a sound and a word that sounds like the sound. These would be examples of onomatopoeic words. Personification is when you give qualities of a person to something that isn't human or may not even be alive. See if you can find the words that use the personification technique. Number 1. The tree branch moaned as I swung on it. Tree branches can't make sounds, but in this it's given a human characteristic that it moaned. Number 2. The popcorn leaped out of the bowl. Popcorn's not alive, but in this case, with personification, it leaped. Number 3. The first rays of sunshine tiptoed through the meadow. Sunshine is not a human, but it's given human characteristics as it tiptoed through the meadow. Let's review. You will get more meaning from your reading by being familiar with the literary devices discussed today. They were similes, metaphors, personification, hyperbole, and onomatopoeia. If you use these in your writing also, then your stories will really come alive and become more interesting and vibrant.